I'm reading live from the Loving Life, All of It, A Walk with Cancer, Compassion, and Consciousness. We are in the middle of the reflections section. The Rainbow Pyramid. In 2009, I began a daily journal, answering questions created during one of the yearly celebrations using the origins process. As the questions helped guide me inwardly, I felt and explored some of my deepest fears, uncertainties, joys, and dreams. As my fears became less fearful, old beliefs and judgments became less painful, and my life's motto of everything happens for a reason expanded to include loving life, all of it. My desire to embrace all aspects of myself with compassion became the motivating factor for this expanded shift in perception. A wonderful way to illustrate this concept is to share a picture our youngest son Justin drew when he was 8 years old. "Mommy, I need to draw you a picture," he said as I was preparing to leave for a vibrational awareness presentation I was giving on the East Coast. Sitting on the floor with markers in hand, he diligently began drawing. With focused attention and unforeseen determination, his hand flowed flawlessly from one image to the next. This was not a simple, "Goodbye, Mommy, I'll miss you" picture that many children draw for their parents who are leaving on a trip. This was a special message for me, coming through my precious son. And this is what he drew. Surprised and curious by what Justin had drawn, I asked him about the second image. This one right here. Oh, right here. With the innocence of a child, he replied very matter-of-factly, "Oh, that's the Rainbow Pyramid." As if a light bulb had turned on in my head, I saw it. We are the Rainbow Pyramid, and each color represents a different vibration, experience, thought, feeling, belief, etc. inside of us. "Wow, this is my whole presentation," I told him, as I embraced the profound gift of this image, as it visualized the potential wholeness of who we are. I knew this was a message from Spirit, so clearly and innocently expressed through Justin's hands. To find our balance, we must embrace all the colors of our rainbow pyramid from a place of joy and gratitude in order to fully live from our hearts. I also like to read it from right to left. When we live from our hearts, from a place of joy and gratitude, without fear, and embrace all the colors of our rainbow pyramid, we come into balance. This inspired visual image of the rainbow pyramid has become part of my vibrational awareness presentation, and I have seen how it touches the hearts of audience members. Its simplicity is profound. Its message is clear, and it has become a visual reminder of my life's journey to love. Cellular memory. Imagine each color in the rainbow pyramid, illustrating a different vibrational frequency, a different thought, belief, emotion, organ, bone, muscle, etc. within us. Some people have a tendency to label these various frequencies as good or bad. From a vibrational perspective, good and bad do not exist. All frequencies together create the whole. Just as every string is valuable and important to a harp, and all piano keys have the potential to create beautiful music, all the frequencies within us contribute to our life experience. I believe when we encounter a vibrational experience that is too intense, strong, painful, joyful, or whatever the circumstance may be, and we are unable to bring those vibrations into balance within ourselves, in the moment, we store those vibrations somewhere in our bodies until a later time, until we are more able to bring them back into our awareness with compassion and integrate them within us. It is my intention to bring as many of my colors back into my awareness as possible. The journey is not always easy, but the feelings of freedom are profound when old patterns reawaken and transform, so that my choices come from a place of inner truth and love rather than unconscious fear. Our memories are not only held within our minds or subconscious, but also within the unconscious cellular memories of our bodies. Within this cellular memory are also the vibrational imprints of our ancestors. These ancestral memories lie dormant below our conscious awareness until that time when they are awakened by sympathetic resonance or a similar frequency, familiar experience, thought, belief, fear, etc. Just as the cavemen ran for their lives when being chased by animals, those same feelings of fear get triggered today, motivating our behavior and choices when we feel threatened. The scientific word for this is epigenetics, the study of heritable changes that occur without change in the DNA sequence. My universal perspective. My diagnosis of stage 2 breast cancer came in late December 2010. All of the life experiences mentioned above were part of my conscious decision to walk my journey with cancer from a place of love. I had learned much about myself through my daily journaling in 2009, and my continued use of the Origins Process system further prepared me for this journey. I felt inspired and gifted with insights that expanded my perception beyond my personal experience and into a collective and universal perspective. I was very aware that I was the one walking this journey, and it was my responsibility to be fully present within it. I was also aware of the collective fears and uncertainties our society has grown to accept regarding a cancer diagnosis, and chose not to plug into that paradigm of fear. My universal perspective has evolved as a result of living with my soulmate and spiritual partner for over 20 years. As part of the development of the origins process, John has received and continues to receive insights, guidance, and information on the cosmology of consciousness, or the precession of the equinoxes, as it reflects the evolution of our current human consciousness. The precession of the equinoxes is defined as, quote, a slow westward shift of the equinoxes along the plane of the ecliptic, resulting from precession of the Earth's axis of rotation, and causing the equinoxes to occur earlier each sidereal year. The precession of the equinoxes occurs at a rate of 50.27 seconds of arc a year. A complete precession requires 25,800 years. It's not necessary to understand the specifics of this concept in order to experience the changes that this shift brings. A more detailed explanation of John's insights into the cosmology of consciousness is outlined in Appendix 1. Briefly stated, we are living in a time of transition between the ages of Pisces and Aquarius, when our consciousness is awakening to a deeper connection to the divine. Master teachers came before us, speaking of the kingdom within, compassion, and love for one another. They planted the seeds of our potential. And now we are the ones who have the responsibility and opportunity to choose. Do we continue the patterns of fear and survival from our past, or move into a higher state of consciousness through love? For the first 13,000 years of our conscious evolution, we were guided by the feminine energy that was intuitively connected to nature, the moon cycles, and feelings of nurturing, protecting the family, and securing the home, which ensured survival of our species. In other words, the feelings of the heart guided our choices. When we learned to plant the seed, which enabled civilizations to develop, the sun became our symbol of reference over the moon, and the masculine energy became dominant as we discovered how to create and manifest our dreams in the outside world. The thoughts of the mind controlled our reality. Now, as we enter the age of Aquarius, where we began 26,000 years ago, it is time to unify the masculine and feminine energies, the mind and heart, our thoughts and our feelings. In order to do this, we need to first awaken to those energies and bring them into balance within ourselves. Everyone experiences this awakening and unification within themselves differently. I knew that my breast cancer diagnosis was part of my sacred journey to this unification, as I realized my transformation was happening on cellular, personal, collective, and universal levels of consciousness simultaneously. This paradigm of deep exploration and interconnection grounded and guided my entire experience with breast cancer. On a soul level, I deeply felt that I needed to experience this journey in order to awaken my connection to the divine within my heart, to fully live my dream, experience my joy, and be the love that I am. And I'll just finish this up. The I am photographs. In 2010, October 2010 was the first Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I could honestly speak from a place of empathy. Having walked my own journey with breast cancer, I now had a personal perspective from which I could relate to other patients. Several area hospitals asked me to speak at their annual Celebration of Life events. I chose to share some of the life lessons I learned through my journey to love. That is how this book came into being. Through my desire to share with others those lessons of awareness and conscious connection that I now carry forward within my heart, one step at a time. The I am photographs throughout this book were taken by the brilliantly gifted photographer Julie Install after my second round of chemotherapy. It wasn't until I was formatting this book that I realized there was an I am photograph for each life lesson. What follows is the story of how the photos came into being. When I was diagnosed with breast cancer in December 2010, somehow I immediately knew it was an opportunity to grow more fully into who I am. From the beginning, my journey was never about fighting or battling cancer, but rather about love, compassion, and unification within myself. The night I shaved my hair after my second round of chemotherapy, I had a vision of a series of photographs that captured the essence of who I am, beyond my experiences, without any of the layers of protection I had come to depend upon as my identity. I called photographer Julie Install. She immediately felt the power of this expression, and she writes in her blog, "As an artist, I was thrilled with the vision we discussed when planning these images. Although planning is a somewhat deceptive word to describe how we started this project. The plan consisted of Amy saying, 'Will you take some pictures of me after I've lost my hair? Here's what I see.' 'I see it,' I said, inasmuch as I could imagine. 'Let's play with this without any preconceived plan of the outcome,' I suggested. Play we did. Her uninhibited presence played with the light and the shutter as images revealed themselves like little presents before my lens. The session was electric. The divine was present that day. Whether you call it God, the Holy Spirit, Jesus, divine energy, or the great I am, it blew in the most beautiful way. I hope you enjoy the images and can see the remarkable, multifaceted woman Amy is. She has asked that I not retouch them, so I have respected her wishes. You will notice a lump below her left collarbone, which is the port through which she receives her chemotherapy medicine. I wouldn't have known it if she hadn't told me, so I thought I'd share it with you. Amy has shared her heart music with cancer, hospice, and grief communities for many years, and has been heavily involved in the research of how her CDs relax the body, reduce anxiety, and support brainwave and immune system function. Now she has had the opportunity to experience the healing effects of her music firsthand. And that concludes the reflections section. And I will continue with Life Lesson 1 in the next video.